Welcome back, decoders, to the channel. This is Decoding with Cody. Today is August 13th, 2025. Going to cover the upcoming news, the upcoming meeting between Trump and Putin today. But before we get into it, welcome to everyone who's in the live stream chat. Please give me a thumbs up in the live stream chat if you guys can hear me. I'll wait for the confirmation just to make sure I'm not speaking to myself. Hello to Metatonic Cycle. And hello to Coffee Girl. Got 8 of you in here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Got 8 people in here so far. We'll give a little bit of time. Hello, Jared. Thanks for the thumbs up as well. Yeah, so I advise you guys to stick around for this stream because you're going to hopefully learn some things. I learned some things with this one. This is kind of new stuff for me and kind of a new topic on this channel. So at least in terms of astrology wise, we're going to talk about a new star that we haven't talked about before. And hopefully I'm going to prove to you guys that this Russia, Trump and Putin meeting is very connected to all of this. And it's going to be some interesting stuff. So hopefully you guys will stick around. And if you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the like buttons. And thank you guys so much for all the people who have supported Derek Geometrinator. His thing, I'll bring up the page later, but we're almost reached our goal already. So I just want to give a big shout out to all you who have helped. I know Derek really appreciates that. So yeah, you guys are amazing. I'm very blessed to have you guys all as part of the family here. And thank you for helping Derek in his time of need. So if you guys are confused about what I'm talking about, go back and check yesterday's video I did on the Milwaukee floods. But the next thing we're going to get into, like I said, is this meeting, and it's more than meets the eye, that's for sure. And so we got a lot to talk about, a lot of new things to learn. So I'll wait another minute or two. Hello to Susan. And hello to Jose again, Jared. Just waiting for some more people to file in here. But by now, you guys have probably heard and know about this. But again, at first I wasn't going to cover this meeting, but it seems that there's a lot more going on here. I don't know what's going to happen, or I don't know if they're going to agree to a peace deal, or it's going to escalate, or I'll give you my theories as we go through this, but definitely something interesting going on with this meeting. And just the fact that it's on the day that it is. It's on the Jesuit orders, when they first met, the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, when he first gathered with the Jesuits for the first time, August 15th. So that's a big day for the Jesuits. And so it's no coincidence that these two guys are meeting on this day. Trump, of course, is Jesuit educated. Let's see. So hello to Carlo. Hello to NA8S Gaming. Hope you guys are well also. All right, we got 50 in here now. We'll go ahead and get into it. If you guys are just watching on a replay, or I just want to make sure I get in as soon as possible. But all right, so the meeting is on August 15th, 2025 in Anchorage, Alaska, at the Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. So again, Alaska is the big key here. Okay, the Alaska thing is very interesting because, Alaska once was owned by Russia. And so this is and right now they're trying to negotiate with Russia and Ukraine about land, right? And of course, back in 1867, it was the United States and Russia who negotiated to do a swap of the land of Alaska. So how perfect it is that they're meeting about this land debate in Ukraine in the land that they once swapped in 1867. So it all goes back, it all ties in, guys. You know how it works. But I wanted to start out with this because this is pretty crazy in terms of how this really all syncs up. It syncs up with Ronald Reagan, who also used the term "Make America Great Again." Here's a picture of Donald Trump shaking Ronald Reagan's hand. But yeah, in case you guys don't know, it was Ronald Reagan who once used the "Make America Great Again." And it was Reagan and Bush Sr. So if you read about this meeting between Putin and Trump, you're going to read on the Wikipedia page that this meeting will be the first time that a summit has been between Russia and the United States, which will be hosted by the United States since what they called the Governor's Island Summit in 1988. We know how big the 88 is, okay? But what's crazy is if you measure from the last time that the United States hosted a summit which brought in a Russian president to this next summit, it's 13400 days. So this lands on a perfect day range. Like, you know what I mean? It's 13400. Okay, so 134. Well, that's about perfect because this meeting was with Reagan, who used the phrase "Make America Great Again." And Trump, he took that phrase and made it his own, right? So what is the chances that "Make America Great Again" equals 134? And if you go from the last time that the United States hosted Russia, it was the first president that used the phrase "Make America Great Again." And now Trump is using it, and it's exactly 134. Not only that, the base that it's being held at on the 15th is called Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, which just happens to sum to 134. And remember, I told you this is happening on the anniversary of the Jesuits and Ignatius of Loyola meeting for the first time on August 15th, 1534. Now, look at the year 1534. If you take out the repeater number, this was in the 1500s, so that means the 5 is the repeater digit every year. If you take that 5 out, you get the 134. So even the year points to the 134. All right. The Jesuits equals 134. So this is about perfect. All right. This is about perfect with the date range and how it lines up with "Make America Great Again." But yeah, something definitely with this. We got 7-1 in the chat. Trump, Putin. It sounds like trumpeting. Yeah, that's a good one. And we got Widow's Son also in the house. 815 will be 6666% of a common year since Alaska was founded. That's another good one. Widow's Son is always good at using those percentages, and that's a good. That'll connect with the mark of the beast stuff that I might talk about towards the end. But yeah, I mean, so this is the first thing I wanted to bring up: the 134 between the last time United States hosted Russia. Also, what happened this day, guys? The day that Reagan met Gorbachev in the United States. Look what happened. If you go to this meeting, it's called the Governor's Island Summit. Look at what it says. This is crazy. Gorbachev cut his trip short as soon as he was informed of the earthquake that struck the Soviet Republic of Armenia earlier in the day. Guys, that's pretty wild. You're telling me the last time that the United States hosted a Russian president for a summit, the Russian president had to cut his trip short because of an earthquake? Now remember, Russia just had an earthquake right before all of this. Last month in July, that earthquake hit Russia supposedly, and it was an 8.8. So to me, guys, this is interesting. This is super interesting that the last time that Russia came to the United States, they had to leave early because of an earthquake. So that's something to watch for. I don't know if they're going to repeat that, but it is interesting for sure. But yeah, well, 134, I already went over it. It's huge. It's the amount of days between these two meetings. Now, another thing that I focus on in this channel is what we call moon lunations. Thanks to Derek and thanks to Casey Jones, thanks to all the people that have talked about moon lunations. What is a moon lunation? Well, a moon lunation is in 1923, they began counting every new moon. So from 1923 on, the last meeting between Russia and United States on the United States territory was on December 7th, 1988. It's this one I just talked about. And it was during moon lunation 815. Well, isn't it perfect that the first meeting on US soil was on lunation 815, and now in 2025, the next one on United States soil is on 815 the date. I mean, wow. And this is all about Russia and Ukraine. If you type in Russia, Ukraine, it equals 815. So that's about perfect again with how those 815 lines up. And actually, another thing I want to talk about with the moon lunation, if you go from the invasion of Ukraine by Putin to this meeting, it's 1269 days. Well, look at the moon lunation that this meeting will be happening in. The moon lunation that this is happening in is lunation 1269. And it will be 1269 days after the invasion. So you tell me, is the moon lunation just super important and most people are very overlooking this? I think it is. So I just showed you two riddles that connect the moon lunation, literally the same amount of days after the invasion, to the meeting, which is in the lunation, the same number. I mean, that's wild. Also, I'll talk about this later, but this meeting is going to happen on 68 date numerology, and all the world wars started on this same numerology. So what are they telling us here? Or what is this telling us? Is it a coincidence that Trump and Putin are meeting on 68 date numerology, which is all connected to the world wars numerology? But guys, I haven't even gotten into the best part of this. This is just the beginning. So hold on to your hats here. I'll drop the link, or someone, I don't know if someone has the link. I don't have the link right now, but I'll get to Derek's link later, and you guys can, find his GoFundMe. But I'll get to that in a little bit. So not only, remember I told you in the beginning of this that Russia sold the United States Alaska on March 30th, 1867. If you measure from that selling date to the meeting in Alaska, it's going to be 158 years and 138 days. Well, 158 is the date. In Russia, the date is written 158. So what are the chances they're meeting on 158, 158 years after Russia sold Alaska to the United States? And it's 138 days after that anniversary when Donald Trump equals 138, and 15/8 is 138 days left in the year. So how perfect does that line up? 158 years to 158, which leaves 138 days in the year when Donald Trump equals 138. Again, that's about perfect. Now, since this is all about buying and selling, this is the crazy part of this decode, I think. This whole meeting is in Alaska, which was bought and sold by Russia and the United States, again, in 1867. Well, buying and selling is connected to money and markets and trading. And in markets, there's something called bear markets, which means prices are falling or expected to fall, often by 20% or more from the highs. So a bear market is a a falling market, okay? While a bull market is a rising market. Now, this sale of Alaska happened and it was 7.2 million at the time. And the capital where they're going to be meeting is Anchorage, which equals 72, like money and like Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is going crazy right now, trying to break into new highs again. And Bitcoin is something that you buy and sell, okay? Markets. So it's not a coincidence, I believe, that this was a $7.2 million sale when money equals 72, right? So this is where we're going to get into the incredible parts, because I needed to set the stage for how this is connected to buying and selling and how it connects to the bear market, okay? So as you guys can see here, there is the Russian bear. Now, the Russian bear is a widespread symbol for Russia used in cartoons, articles, and dramatic plays since as early as the 16th century, and relating alike to the Russian Empire, the Russian Provisional Government, and the Russian Republic, and the Soviet Union, and the present-day Russian Federation. The uses of the bear are mixed. It was often used by Westerners in British caricatures, and later also used in the United States, often in positive context. Often not in positive context. On occasion, it was used to imply that Russia is a big, brutal, and clumsy. However, Russians have also used it to represent their country, where it has been used as a symbol of national pride. So again, bear markets, buying and selling, and the country that did the selling. I told you who sold. What is it? What is it in a bear market? You're selling. Russia is the one who sold Alaska. You guys get it? Russia is the symbol of the bear. Russia sold Alaska. Russia is the seller, the bear. Okay. And Russia's symbol is the bear. And you can find funny pictures. Putin doesn't really ride bears, but you can find like AI generated pictures of Putin riding bears. And here's an old picture of the bear, Russian bear, with a dove. Well, what's the dove represent? Peace. And what is this whole meeting between Trump and Putin about? It's about trying to get peace. But look at the house of cards. So the piece is standing on a house of cards. Do you guys get what I'm pointing at here? I told you that this meeting is on 68 date numerology, when all the world wars started on 68 date numerology. And this meeting is about trying to create peace. But is this piece standing on a house of cards? And remember how I started this decode talking about the 134? Well, house of cards equals 134. Do you guys understand how incredible that is? I started this whole thing talking about the distance between the last time we had a meeting in the United States between these two, and the Russian bear is depicted with the piece and the house of cards. And this number is the gematria 134, which I started this decode out with. Okay? A house of cards of peace. So this is the most interesting part of this decode for me. Not only is Russia symbolized by the bear, which they sold Alaska to, Alaska itself is symbolized by the bear. And I guess most of you guys maybe already know this, but we're going to look into the astrological part because this is the most interesting part. The Alaska state flag features 8 golden stars on a dark blue field. The 7 smaller stars form the pattern of the Big Dipper, part of the Ursa Major. The larger star represents Polaris, the North Star located at the end of the handle of Ursa Minor. So yes, the symbolism is clear. The Big Dipper is the bear constellation. Ursa Major means the Great Bear. So not only is Alaska the bear, or Russia the bear, Alaska has the constellation of the Great Bear on its flag. I mean, wow. I mean, this is just mind blowing to me, guys. I mean, on many levels. Okay. Because I just told you it's all about buying and selling, which is a bear market. Okay. And then Russia's the bear, Alaska's the bear. Here, over here, you can see the Big Dipper, which is the Great Bear, and the Little Dipper, which is the lesser bear. Ursa Major equals Great Bear in Latin. Most famous for containing the Big Dipper. Okay. There are 2 pointer stars called Dubhe and Merak who form a line that points directly to Polaris. Ursa Minor is the little bear in Latin and contains the Little Dipper. Its tip is the star Polaris, or otherwise known as the North Star. So you notice that these constellations are called the Little Dipper. In markets, when markets are falling, they call it a dip. Do you guys understand how crazy this is? Not only is this connected with bear markets, but when markets are falling, they're called dips, like dipping down, right? And now we have this constellation connecting to the bear, but also having the dip. Bear market and dipping. That's completely connected to markets, okay? So here is the picture of the sky with the Big Dipper and the 2 pointer stars, Merak and Dubhe. Merak and Dubhe point to Polaris, which is the guiding star. If you can find the guiding star in the sky, you will always be on track. And so on the Alaska flag, it clearly depicts this, okay? I mean, that's what it even says. There's no question about it. This is just look up what the actual thing is. This is what this means. There's no like esoteric meaning about it. It's right in front of our face that's what this is. So now we got to talk about what I just talked about. I told you bear markets are all about buying or selling. Or selling is the bear market, buying is the bull market, okay? So the 2 pointer stars are Dubhe and Merak. Merak comes from the Arabic al-Merak, meaning the loins or the loins of the bear. That reflects its position on the bear's body in the traditional star map of Ursa Major. Well, what are the chances, guys, that the name of this star that points to Polaris is Merak, which equals buy and sell? Notice that buy and sell both equal 48, like Merak. Now, Donald Trump equals 48, and Russia equals 48. And Donald Trump actually equals 48 in 2 ciphers, in both reduction and Chaldean. And Donald Trump equals a Little Dipper, which is part of the star Polaris. The star Polaris is part of the Little Dipper. So all these things equal 48. Buy, sell, Merak, Little Dipper, Donald Trump, Russia, all equal 48. So how many days do you think it is between Putin taking office and this meeting? It just happens to be 48 days since Putin took office to when they were meeting. And again, Russia 48, Donald Trump 48, Little Dipper 48. One of the stars, part of the constellation Merak 48, like buy and sell. So it's 48 days. Okay. The next president of the United States will be the 48th president. So I wonder if there's a clue there. But that kind of brings it all together with the 48, because again, this is a huge number with all these things. Russia, Donald Trump. Now, how did I catch on to this? Because just a few days ago, right before it was or I think it was on like the same day or something that they announced that they were going to meet. In the news, there was the death of the Bad News Bears actor Jeffrey Lewis Starr. And this is just so multi-layered. So not only is he the bad news bear, like this whole thing's about the bear, the Ursa Major, which means the great bear. And Russia is the bear, and Alaska has the bear constellation. So his last name is Starr, which clearly points to the star Polaris, or the stars that are making up the big bears, the bear constellations. But his first name is even more telling, because his first name is Jeffrey. And Jeffrey means pledge of peace. Wow. So all this stuff with Putin and Trump being all about the bear, and now this bad news bear guy dies, and his first name means pledge of peace. And what is Trump trying to get Putin to do in the land of the bear? He's trying to get Putin to pledge peace. So this to me is wild. I mean, come on, he has the bear connection, and now Jeffrey means a pledge of peace. This is clearly connected. I mean, I don't see how you can argue that. Now, his middle name is Lewis, which means warrior. So let's break this down again. Jeffrey means peace, pledge of peace. Louis means warrior. So you have a duality here. You have peace and war. And then you have the star, which is pointing to these stars, the constellation of the bears. But look at the colors of the bad news bears. Look at the colors. Literally the same colors as the Alaska flag. Look, yellow and blue, almost the same shade even. So even the colors of the bad news bears point to the Alaska flag and the bear constellation on the flag. And Trump is trying again to get Putin to pledge peace, which is what Jeffrey means. Oh, and here I just made a slide to point it out that it's clear that the colors of the bad news bears also point to the flag of Alaska. Now we got to circle back, because we need to go to another state that this is all connecting to. This is not just connecting to Alaska. This is connecting to California. Because California has a baseball team with the same colors in the college baseball, the blue and the yellow, the same colors as the Bad News Bears, and the same colors as the Alaska flag, called the California Golden Bears. Now look at how Golden Bears equals 48, like Donald Trump, and I just showed you all the 48s back here, right? Russia 48, Donald Trump 48, Big Little Dipper 48, buy and sell 48. Trump or Putin will be 48 days into his office. But now the Golden Bears also equal 48. Okay. And this is just about perfect because let's compare the California flag and the Alaska flag. It's pointing us to the same theme. The bear flag is the official flag of the U.S. state of California. The precursor of the flag was first flown in 1846 during the Bear Flag Revolt and was also known as the Bear Flag. A predecessor called the Lone Star flag was used in 1836, Independence Movement. The red star element from the flag appears in the bear flag of today. So look how crazy this is, guys. What do you see on the California flag? You see the Great Bear and you see the star. And the bear is pointing to the star, right? He's facing the star. Well, the bear, the Great Bear, let me just move this real fast. Again, this is the Great Bear constellation right here, Ursa Major. The Great Bear points us to the star Polaris. So you guys can think what you want. I mean, maybe this is not Polaris, but this sure as heck seems like the same thing. The bear is pointing to the star. The bear is pointing to the star. Okay, Polaris. So, you know, on this channel, we've talked a lot about Sirius, the dog star, right? And of course, Sirius is super important. But I don't think we can forget about Polaris. Polaris is the fixed star. And obviously, it's important. So I believe that this is tying these two states to this Russia meeting or this Alaska meeting. And the reason I think I know this is because look at when the first time that the California bear flag was first flown. If you read right here, it says the original grizzly bear flag was created by Peter Storm. Of course, the guy's name is Storm. Trump said the calm before the storm, right? A version of this bear flag designed by William L. Todd was raised in Sonoma, California in 1846 between July 14th or June 14th and 17th. Guys, what is the birthday of Donald Trump? You're telling me that the California bear flag was first flown exactly 100 years before Trump was born? 6/14/1846. Trump was born 100 years later to the day on June 14th, 1946. So, you tell me, I mean, exactly 100 years to the day. Now, considering we're talking about the California flag now and the Alaska flag, both the bear flags, okay? If you go to the very important Chaldean Gematria cipher, one of the oldest, most reliable ciphers, Polaris equals 25. Now, Polaris is revealed to us by the Great Bear constellation, which is Ursa Major. It points to Polaris. The words Great Bear equals 25. And the name of the flag for California is called the Bear Flag, which also equals 25. And of course, we are currently in the year 2025, and now we have all this bear stuff happening. So Polaris equals Great Bear equals Bear Flag, connecting these guys to this year 25. But this is the best part of the decode right here. So I hope you guys have stuck around to really bring this all together here. Please hit the like buttons if you guys are learning something. Okay, if you guys are learning something, please hit that like button. Because I learned, I go through a lot of research to try to, I have to learn stuff every day just to present this stuff. But yeah, so this summit is taking place in 2025 in Anchorage, Alaska. Well, 2025 is 45 times 45. So the number 45 is hugely tied to the year 2025 because 45 times 45 is 2025. Well, what are the chances that the city that they're meeting in, Anchorage, equals 45 in forward and 45 in reverse? And the state that they're meeting in equals 45 in ordinal and 45 in reverse reduction. So both Anchorage and Alaska equal 45 in two ciphers. Again, 45 times 45 is 2025. Now, the Alaska flag literally features Polaris, and they tell us this. We don't have to try to think esoterically here. This is exoteric. Literally, the meaning of the flag is Polaris. So what are the chances that Polaris equals 45? And if you type out the number 45, it equals 45. In the same cipher as Polaris, in the same cipher as Anchorage, and in the same cipher as Alaska. I mean, wow, guys. And again, they tell us what this is all about. They tell us this Alaska flag is all about Polaris. And then you're just telling me that Polaris equals Alaska equals Anchorage equals 45. And now here we have Trump in the year 2025, and Trump was the 45th president originally. So again, no doubts here. It's all about the 45s. Now, not only is 2025 5 times 45, what about 45 plus 45? Well, that equals 90. And look at this. Alaska's flag equals 90, like Polaris. Wow. And 45 plus 45 is 90. I mean, this about solidifies it, right? I mean, if you didn't believe it with the 45s, you just add them together. 45 plus 45, you get Alaska's flag equals Polaris. Bears equals 90. There's two constellations here. Both of them are the bears, the little bear and the big bear. So the bears, right? Bears equals 90. Anchorage, Alaska equals 90. And flag of California equals 90. So flag of California equals 90 like Anchorage, Alaska. It has the same bear with the same star. And it all comes back to the 45 because 45 is the plus 45 is 90. And again, Polaris equals 90. Let me just show you Polaris numbers just so you guys can see. Polaris equals 90 and 45. Okay. Alaska, 45 and 45, and then Anchorage, 45, 45. And think about the word Anchorage. This is all about the fixed star Polaris, which means it's anchored. So not only does Anchorage equal Polaris, the word anchor means something that is fixing you somewhere, right? When you drop an anchor in the ocean, you're anchoring yourself in one spot. Polaris is anchored in the sky. And the star Polaris is connected to ships and navigation because the ships use the Polaris to navigate. So even the name Anchorage, which equals Polaris, is pointing us to the same theme of being anchored or being fixed. Okay? So not only are the 45s important, Polaris is also known as the North Star. And again, if you go from the day that Russia sold like a bear, during a bear market, you're selling, right? Russia sold Alaska to the United States. It's 158 years, and they're going to meet on 15/8. Polaris is the North Star, which equals 158. And Polaris is used for navigation, which equals 158. Freemasonry equals 158. So again, that's just another layer to go with all I've already showed you. And yeah, there's so much more I could probably, there's more 158s I could even say, but I know Freemasonry equals 158. Donald Trump equals 159, which is, if you use the rule of Colel, it's one off. But again, we have to go back because I remember I told you in 1988, which was the last time that the United States hosted a summit with Russia on American soil, the president of Russia had to leave the United States because of an earthquake. And that was in the year 88. Now, we've been talking about the year 88 because that was a huge year for Hulk Hogan, whose initials are 88. And the first main event that Hulk Hogan starred on was in the year 88. And now, in the year 88, a Russian president met with a United States soil and had to leave because of an earthquake. Well, we just had an 8.8 earthquake in Russia, right next to Alaska. Do you see how perfect this is, guys? Literally just an 8.8 earthquake right on the other side of Alaska. And in 88, the Russian president had to leave because of an earthquake. Now look at this. I'm talking about California. I'm talking about the California flag, the bears. Vladimir equals 88, like Vladimir Putin. California equals 88. Trump equals 88. The two stars that point to Polaris, Dubhe and Merak, equal 88. If Russian equals 88, the bad news bears equals 88. And in Jewish Latin gematria, bear equals 88. So don't you think that this 8.8 earthquake in the country that's represented by the bear was a sign of the bear meeting in Alaska, which is all about the bears, right? It's all about bears. And the bear constellation, which points to Polaris. And I want you guys to kind of look closely. Yeah, I want to mention the Bering Strait because that's another good connection. Let me just take this picture and make it bigger for you so I can show you what I mean here. So again, a bear market is buying and selling. Does the Golden Gate Bridge have an anchorage? Well, I'm going to talk about the Golden Gate Bridge because this is tied to the Golden Gate Bridge. Just let me get to that. But anyways, the Bering Strait was a bridge, or is a bridge. We're going to talk about the Bering Strait too, but look at the shape of Russia and look at the shape of Alaska. It almost looks like two animals colliding. If you really zoom out and you look at the two shapes of the whole continents, it almost looks like two animals colliding. Now, could this be the bear? Does this kind of look like a bear to you? I mean, it could also look like another animal, but I mean, considering that Russia is all about the bear, is Russia like the big bear that's coming after the bull? But again, Russia used to own Alaska. So, but yeah, let's talk about the Bering Strait because we need to get to that as well. Let me just bring that up on a new page here. I didn't do any slides on it because I ran out of time, but I was thinking about the Bering Strait, so I'm glad you brought it up. So remember, wait, is this 90 kilometers? Bering Strait image taken by MIRSR with Seward separates the United States and the Russia by 90 kilometers. Are you kidding me? Do you guys see that right there? 90 kilometers. What number did I just talk about? Polaris equals 90. Bears, 90. Alaska's flag features Polaris, which equals 90. Anchorage, Alaska equals 90. Flag of California, 90, with the bear on it. So you're telling me that the Bering Strait separates Russia and the United States by 90 kilometers? Wow. What's golden? Since you guys are talking about the Golden Gate, let's just whet your appetite here. You notice how Golden Gate equals Polaris, equals Anchorage, equals Alaska's flag, equals Golden Bears. I mean, just look at all the 45s and 90s. And yes, there are other things that equal 45 and 90. Also, like Jupiter, the moon also equals that. But look at this. Golden Gate equals Polaris, 90. Bears equals 45 and 90. Anchorage, 45, 45. Flag of California, 90. Look at this. Even Meroc in the Francis Bacon equals 45. Buy and sell equals 45. Well, I could have just talked about the 45 this whole stream. I literally could have just talked about 45 and 90. But yeah, the Bering Strait, let's see what that equals. The bear, it's so obvious. Please share this video if you guys can so we can really show people what's going on here. Wow, Bering Strait equals California. Wow, look at this. Bering Strait equals California golden bears. I just talked about them. Right here, California golden bears connecting to the bad news bears. And in Jewish gematria, golden bears, California golden bears equals Bering Strait. Also 182, like California. All right, so yeah, I might need to do like a part 2 on this because I need to really look into the Bering Strait more. I didn't get a chance to. Okay, so the Bering Strait has been a subject of scientific theory that humans migrated from Asia to North America across a land bridge. So again, we're talking about the Golden Gate, which crosses the Golden Gate Strait, right? When Golden Gate equals 90. But look at this, guys. 90 plus 45 is 135. And this is also an important number. Why? Golden Gate Bridge, 135. I talked about a house of cards, which equals 135. Flag of California. So look at the flag of California, right? Look what it equals. Flag of California literally equals in all ciphers Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Gate Bridge, 135, 81, 297, and 90. The only one it doesn't match is the 81. But the 81's also over here. So, and remember, 90 plus 45, which is the numbers I was just talking about, equals 135. So I'm almost done, guys. Let me just get through the rest of this. There's really a lot more I could talk about. Decoding Our Reality says August 15th is 119 years, 119 days after the great San Francisco, California earthquake. Wow. So if you read about the bear flag of California, it talks about the earthquake of 1906. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Look at this. So if you read about the bear flag, it says the flag was donated, which was the original flag, was donated to a guy in Montgomery. And the flag was donated to the Society of California Pioneers on September 8th, 1855, and was preserved at the Society's Pioneer Halls in San Francisco until it was destroyed on April 18th, 1906, in the fires that happened after the Great San Francisco earthquake. So the bear flag, the original one, was destroyed by the earthquake. You guys see how crazy it is? And now Decoding Our Reality. Decoding Our Reality has said that August 15th, this meeting is 119 years, 119 days after that earthquake. My mom's in the chat. Love you, Mom. Everyone say hi to my mom. But yeah, that's an amazing find to add to this. Let's see. Yeah, Baldo Live. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. We just did a live stream earlier on the on our weekly podcast where he brought to my attention that a bear had charged the Seattle mascot. Let me see if I can bring this up. Hold on real fast. Bear charges Seattle mascot. So here's the story of August 6th was a grizzly bear charges the Seattle mascot. I mean, come on now. So we got more bear stuff. You know, maybe this ties back to the bare necessities. Like during a Great Depression, you're only going to be able to have the bare necessities, right? There's probably a lot of things we could say about the bare necessities and all kinds of different shows that have bears. We haven't even talked about the Chicago Bears or how that might connect. But let's get through the last of these slides and then we're going to wrap it up. So I've talked about Ripple XRP, the cryptocurrency. Again, we're talking about markets. And there's a riddler. Again, I told you guys this many times that in the XRP Twitter space, there's riddlers, okay? And one of the main ones who no one knows who he is, probably CIA. He goes by the name Bearable Guy. 1, 2, 3. And here is this riddle from the Bearable Guy connecting to XRP, where you have the bear dressed up, right? And he's roasting marshmallows. And he's looking out the window and he sees what I believe to be Polaris. And you see the king down here? You see the round table and the king, and inside the rocket ship is a knight. The CEO of Ripple is Brad Garlinghouse dressed as a knight. So you have the round table, the king, and the knight, and Polaris. So you have the bear, right? The bear is connected to Polaris, the constellation. Then you have the Knights of the Round Table and the King Arthur. Guys, what do you think Arthur means? Let me show you. So Arthur, let me find it. Oh, sorry. So Arthur is derived from an older patronym meaning son of the bear or warrior king. Do you guys get it now? So this riddle shows us the bear, it shows us the king, like King Arthur, the round table and the knights, and Polaris, all in one riddle. So, and now we find out that Arthur means bear, bear-like, or bear. And yes, King Charles' middle name is Arthur. So there's that. Look at this. An alternative theory, which has gained limited acceptance, derives the Arthur from Arcturus, the brightest star in the constellation Bootes, near the Ursa Major of the Great Bear. Even on the... Sorry, guys, I need to take this off. Thanks for reminding me. But yeah, even on the King Arthur page, it mentions Ursa Major. So that's just more confirmation. Arthur, when borrowed into Welsh and its brightest in the position in the sky, led people to regard it as the guardian of the bear. So again, you guys don't think Ripple XRP is connected to all this? I show this constantly. And look how it connects. This whole time, I didn't even put all this together. The Bearable Guy, the King Arthur, the Polaris Star, and the rocket ship. And here I just showed that the Golden Gate Bridge equals flag of California. It also equals north to the future. So there's a whole riddle of back to the future here. But if you look up Alaska's motto, guys, Alaska's motto is north to the future. You guys get it? Back to the future. So this whole riddle that we've been following all year with Back to the Future, it also ties into Alaska because their motto is north to the future, to Polaris. And Alaska is the most northern part of the United States, right? Like the North Star. So yeah, north to the future also equals flag of California, Golden Gate Bridge. But here's the last one, guys. Last slide. If you go from the original adoption of the California bear flag to the beating of the bears in Alaska, it's 41833 days. Guys, that's the 84th star number. And I've shown how they use star numbers in connection to star riddles. And it just happens to be that from the California flag to this meeting is the 84 star days, which is so impossible to land on, guys. You guys got to understand, this is improbable. And what does Vladimir Putin equal in gematria? 84. What is California flag? So from the California flag being adopted to this meeting is 84 star, and the California flag equals 84 in the same cipher as Vladimir Putin. Now, in Francis Bacon's cipher, California equals 84, and the two stars that point to Polaris, Dubhe and Merak, equal 84. Also, this is on the Jesuits' founding day. The Jesuit order equals 84, and Jesuit equals 84. So I don't think many people understand how improbable this is that this lands on this days, but it's improbable, okay? I'll just keep it simple. A star number is built like this, in case you guys don't understand what a star number is. But yeah, that's it. There's a lot more we could talk about. Maybe I'll have to do a part 2, the Bering Strait. Funny that our friend AJ's last name is Strait. I just thought of that. But yeah, I mean, there's probably something more to this. I need to look more into the Bering Strait, but all right, I'm going to take a few comments and then I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks to everyone who left. Thanks to my mom, who's also in the chat. Love you. Thanks to Ball Don't Lie for his additions. Casey Jones says that 8:15 is also the Assumption of Mary. So, yeah, we need to think about that a bit as well. Decoding Our Reality says August 15th is 7,009 days after the wrestler earthquake died, and his full name is John Anthony Tenta Jr. equals 79. August 15th equals 88 years, 80 days after the Golden Gate Bridge opened. Yeah. I mean, so literally from the Golden Gate Bridge opening to August 15th is 888. And just so you guys know, Vladimir Putin, and the war number. This meeting is on 68 date numerology. When Putin invaded Ukraine, it was on 68 date numerology. When World War II started, it was 68. When World War I started, it was 68. So you can't tell me that this is not pretty ominous that they're meeting on this numerology. Okay. But again, let's just, for the last thing here, if we go from the Golden Gate, 1937, to this meeting. If you go from the opening, sorry. Wow, look at this, guys. From the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge to this meeting is 32223 days. Remember, Hulk Hogan died when the Golden Gate Bridge turned 32200, and now we have the 322 forward and backwards on the meeting of Putin and Trump. And look at this, 1058 months, like 158, like the number I just talked about. But this is pretty interesting, 322. Yeah, and it's 3222, 4 twos if you don't add the day. Which is also 88 years and 80 days. So I'm telling you, this is all connected to the Golden Gate Bridge because this connects to the Bering Strait and all that. So the California flag is literally the same bear symbolism as the Alaska flag. Yeah, awesome comments today. Please hit those likes, guys. 85 likes only. And we revealed things in this video that are absolutely undeniable. And 85 likes. I know YouTube's taking away likes too. Also, I've watched them do that. So it doesn't really matter if you hit the likes so much, guys, because they literally take them away. But if you if you still want to hit the like. But yeah, and so Daniel 7:5 says, "Behold, the beast is the second is like a bear." Yeah, and I didn't even get into the Revelation things. Remember the beast, the mark of the beast, buying and selling. I think I'm gonna do that another day. We'll talk more about that later. But buying and selling without the mark of the beast, which connects to a bear, also. Did you know that the capital of Russia and the Golden Gate Bridge were sharing the founding and opening date of May 27th? Wow. No, I didn't know that. So so there you go, guys. That's more something for people to look into. The capital of Russia and the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, and there's also a riddle here for the Game of Thrones, King of the North. And also the Bible, right? The King of the North. The North Star. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed. Also, don't forget to go support Derek. Let me bring up Derek's thing here. If I can find it. And you guys, look at this. We are literally, well, they upped the goal a little bit. So if you guys want to keep donating, you can. But we reached the goal of 8,000 almost. So thank you guys so much for all the support for Derek. I know he appreciates it. And thank you for all the support to all the decoders. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you all. And I'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see what happens. Have a good night, everyone.